Obey. Conform.
From great suffering, great pain, came a solution. Communities, where disorder became harmony.
The way things look and the way things are very different.
What do you think would happen if you skipped your morning injection?
I cannot prepare you for what's going to happen.
There's something missing from our lives. Something that has been stolen.
When people have the freedom to choose, they choose wrong.
CBS Health Watch, sponsored by Pfizer. Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
All right, here's a question for you. Could the White House be your new pharmacy? President Trump is slapping his name on this new direct-to-consumer option for prescription drugs.
Fox's Connor Henson has a look at what this new plan means for you.
President Trump, flanked by his top health officials and the CEO of Pfizer, announced a new way for Americans to buy prescription medications.
There has never been anything like this in the history of medicine.
Consumers will soon find some popular Pfizer drugs discounted 50 to 100% and sold on a website run by the government dubbed Trump RX.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer. CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
The president also announced Pfizer will offer all of its prescription medications to Medicaid.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. If your child had a cough, she'd get just what the doctor orders.
You know what? I make a lot more money if I take this kid's tonsils out.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
If there's a blue pill and a red pill, and the blue pill is half the price of the red pill and works just as well, why not pay half price?
We refuse to make the most vulnerable citizens continue to pay an unthinkable price for the world's pharmaceutical breakthroughs.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
Maybe you're better off not having the surgery, but taking the painkiller.
Those drugs will be offered at the most favored nation prices, meaning Americans will pay the same as people in other developed countries.
I think this is one of the biggest medical announcements that this office has ever made.
The White House says American consumers have been subsidizing research and development for the rest of the world. In addition to lowering prices, Pfizer also announced plans to invest $70 billion to manufacture drugs in the U.S.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
We commit to onshore the production of our medicines that are consumed in the U.S. and are made outside the U.S. And for that, we are ready to unleash our investment portfolio in this country.
Earlier this year, President Trump signed an executive order demanding that drug companies lower their prices. He says a deal with at least one other major company could be coming soon.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download. Brought to you by Pfizer. This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Swift-footed Hermes glides as fast as thought between the summit of Mount Olympus down to the world of us mortals. The earth passes in a blur beneath him as he speeds over land and sea. Hermes is featured more than any other god in the myths. That's why he's so often depicted in the vase paintings of the ancient Greeks. He's the personal messenger to his father Zeus, so he's often sent away post-haste on important business missions. This leaves Zeus free time to attend to more personal matters. But Hermes is much more than a glorified postal service. He's the cleverest of all the gods and a master in the art of persuasion. He's often seen wearing a messenger's cloak and a wide-brimmed hat. And on his feet are winged sandals. His symbol is a herald's staff entwined by two serpents, known as the caduceus. The design of the caduceus has seen many changes over the course of time, but this is the version most often used today. The caduceus was formally adopted by the medical department of the United States Army in 1902. A bit of a strange choice, considering that the symbol is not associated with health, but rather with commerce and negotiation. Another symbol, known as the rod of Asclepius, is similar to the caduceus, but it depicts a single serpent. It's the symbol of Asclepius, Greek god of healing, medicine, and physicians. And so is appropriately used today, both in the US and around the world, in connection with health and medicine. So then why is the caduceus still being used today in places like the US as a symbol for health? Some say it's a simple matter of misunderstanding, and others believe it's because the caduceus is thought to have a much stronger visual impact in terms of branding, thereby becoming a more profitable enterprise. It's not surprising there's so much confusion and misuse in regards to this symbol, considering Hermes is a trickster god. The poets say that Hermes was born in a cave on Mount Selene in southern Greece. Almost immediately after he was born, the precocious Hermes got the idea to steal his half-brother Apollo's herd of oxen. But on his way out of his cave, he nearly stumbled over a tortoise. In a flash of inspiration, he transformed the tortoise into a string instrument called the lyre. He then quickly taught himself how to play before he continued on his way. When he finally found the herd, Hermes had the brilliant idea to enchant them to walk backwards, so that it would appear that they never left the meadow. Apollo searched in vain for his lost oxen, suspecting a god must have been involved. He asked Zeus for help, who figured that it must have been his latest offspring who was responsible. Although amused at his young son's antics, Zeus made Hermes give the herd back to Apollo. So Hermes ended his eventful first day on Earth playing a melody on his newly invented lyre. Although deeply annoyed at his younger brother, Apollo was completely taken by the beautiful sound it produced. A deal was suddenly struck. Apollo agreed to hand over his oxen in exchange for the lyre. In his role as the trickster, Hermes is also associated with the archetype of the fool or the joker. He shows us that disobedience can be intelligently used to help the individual assert their power within society, and even the playing field between those with power and those without. Although Hermes is often thought of as a trickster, he's also connected to the magician archetype as a powerful deity of dreaming, death, and delusion. Much like we do today, the ancient Greeks mourned their dead and wondered about what awaited them beyond the familiar shore of life. They imagined an afterlife in which souls were helped across to the other side by none other than Hermes himself. The typically mischievous Hermes leaves his trickery behind when he enters the underworld. The golden gleam of his caduceus helps guide the souls of the recently departed through the twilight of the underworld to their final resting place. This is why Hermes is referred to as psychopomp, a Greek word meaning conductor of souls. Hermes is also called a god of thresholds. He's one of the very few granted access to the underworld. and also permitted to leave its shadows and return again to the sunlit world above. Hermes is often seen as a unifying force between male and female. Mercury, and so by extension Hermes, was largely forgotten after the fall of the classical world. But he enjoyed a reinvention tour in the late European Middle Ages, when he became a central figure in the mysterious practice of alchemy. Because the element mercury was the only metal to remain liquid at room temperature, the alchemists were convinced that it held a profound secret. It seemed to exist right at the threshold between two states, not fully one thing or another, but something in between. Alchemists therefore believed mercury could transcend both solid and liquid, earth and heaven, and ultimately life and death. They asserted that mercury was one of the main ingredients needed to produce the philosopher's stone. The stone, also called elixir of life, was rumored to have the ability to turn base metals into gold and to prolong life indefinitely.
Me, look on the CDC website as to what is in the swine flu vaccine. You know, aluminum, insect repellent, formaldehyde, mercury.
Yeah. Is there really mercury in flu vaccines? Our Verify team went to the Centers for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration. Both say yes, bam, there is a preservative added to vaccines that is 50% mercury. It's called thimerosal. And the CDC says they've done a bunch of studies that show it doesn't have any link to autism. Now, it's put in the shots to stop bacteria and fungus from growing in the vial, because that could cause a staph infection.
Aluminum, insect repellent, formaldehyde, mercury.
As messenger, trickster, psychopomp, and alchemical figure, the shape-shifting Hermes invites us to travel beyond the boundaries of the conscious and unconscious mind.
I have always liked shapeshift.
He reveals to us how easily we're taken in by the art of illusion. He exposes hypocrisy and challenges authority. He's the gentle guide to lost souls, helping them onward to their next destination. And just when you think you've got him all figured out, he slips through your fingers and vanishes without a single word.
You shiver and twitch because you need a fix, and the more that you do, the deeper you get. But you're not alone. The devil has a hold of so many people who are in the same boat. You're under the influence of a seductive spirit, and you are the generation that God told us was sure to come. Troubled souls give up, imprisoned by substance, hope and love get crushed by the chemicals in pharmacia. There is a void in everyone's life, and it is insistence to be satisfied. The question is, what truly fulfills, and what incarcerates, intending to kill? You're under the influence of a seductive spirit, another generation. Then God told us it was sure to come. Troubled souls give up, imprisoned by substance. Hope and love get crushed by the chemicals in pharmacia. Jesus will strengthen us. Through His blood we can overcome. But it's no walk in the park when you are swimming with sharks. No, it won't be smooth sailing. Sometimes you'll feel capsized. So be sure that your heart is secured real tight, and you'll slay the Hydra in pharmacia.